Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into a spiritual paradox that can feel like a total mind-bender. It's one of those questions that once you really dig into it, can completely flip how you see, well, everything. So let's just put it out there. At first glance, this question feels impossible, right? I mean, if your usual sense of self, what some teachings call the shadow self, is the very thing you're trying to see beyond, how can it be the one choosing awareness? But then, if you are awareness already, what's there to choose? It feels like a total catch-22. But stick with me, because the answer is hiding right inside the contradiction itself. Okay, so to unravel this whole thing, we first need to get really clear on a simple but absolutely crucial distinction. It's all about separating the stuff of our experience from the space where all that stuff is happening. Think of it like this. On one side, you have the content of your life, every single thought, feeling, memory, and story. And on the other side, you have the context, that silent, aware space that holds all of it. Honestly, seeing the difference between these two is the key to this entire teaching. So first, let's talk about the content. This is what we're calling the shadow self. And really, it's just everything you mean when you say I. It's your name, your body, your history, all your anxieties, and the different roles you play every day. The most important thing to notice here is that all of this is observable, and it is always changing. And then you have the context, pure awareness. Now, this isn't another thing you can find or point to. It's simply the knowing of the shadow self. It's not personal, it has no story, and it never, ever changes. While your thoughts and moods come and go, the awareness that knows they're there, that's always here. Okay, so now that we have that distinction down, let's go looking for this mysterious chooser. This is where the paradox starts to really unravel, and honestly, it feels a little bit like a magic trick. Here is just a fantastic analogy for this shift. Imagine you are completely lost in a movie. You're identified with the hero, you feel the drama, the tension, you basically feel like you are the story. Then, boom, in a moment of clarity, you realize you're not the movie at all. You're the screen that the entire movie is playing on. And this brings us right to the heart of it. In that moment of realization, did the screen actively do anything? Did it perform some big action of choosing to be a screen? Of course not. It's way simpler than that. A case of mistaken identity just dissolved. The wrong idea that it was the movie just fell away all by itself. So here's the big reveal. The instruction to choose awareness was never meant to be taken literally. It's a pointer. It's a piece of language, a clever little tool used to nudge you while you still think you're the movie to just look in a different direction. It's a strategy, not a literal command. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. That confusion you might feel around the word choose, that's not a bug in the teaching, it's a feature. See, these kinds of teachings are brilliantly designed to self-destruct. Think about it. Any teaching that you just turn into a new permanent belief has actually failed in its purpose. The whole idea is to use one concept, like choosing awareness, as a temporary tool. It's like using one thorn to dig out another, more painful thorn. Once that first thorn of mistaken identity is gone, you're supposed to throw both thorns away. And this shows you the life cycle of that tool perfectly. So, step 1, you start with the unconscious belief, I am my thoughts and feelings. 2, the teaching comes in, hey, choose awareness instead. 3, you actually take it seriously and you ask, wait a second, who is doing this choosing? And 4, the device fails, it breaks because you can't find a chooser anywhere. The whole concept collapses, and that failure, that is the success. And this is so important. The goal isn't to trade your old identity for some new, shiny, spiritual one. If you just start walking around believing, I am pure awareness, you've just created a more subtle, more sophisticated mask. The real point is for this idea of a fixed central I to dissolve altogether. Okay, so this all sounds pretty abstract, right? How does this help with something that feels so incredibly real and heavy, like the weight of our personal and generational history? We all kind of experience our past this way, don't we? It can feel like we're carrying this enormous, impossibly tangled net made of our family's patterns, our own anxieties, our culture. It just feels like this huge weight that we're supposed to somehow carry and untangle for the rest of our lives. But what if that whole picture is just a little bit off? What if all that weight, that entire complicated net, isn't this massive thing at all? What if it's actually being held together by one single tiny point of tension? Just one little knot.
And here it is. This is the knot. It's the silent, totally unquestioned assumption that every single experience, every thought, every feeling, every piece of our history has to have a central owner. It's that deep down belief that there must be an I at the center of it all, carrying it, managing it, and owning it. The whole shift happens right here, in this tiny change of perspective. On one side, you've got the thought that creates all the weight. This is my trauma, my anxiety. That one little word, my, is the entire knot. But on the other side, the knot loosens. The perspective shifts to simply conditioning is happening. The ownership dissolves and poof, the weight goes right along with it. So here's the most liberating part. You don't have to fight the net. You don't have to spend years and years trying to untangle every single thread of your past. The moment the knot, that core assumption of a central owner, is clearly seen for what it is, the entire net of psychological history just falls apart. It turns out there was never anything to untangle in the first place.
So in the end, this isn't about adopting a new belief or a new philosophy. It's really just an invitation to turn this whole investigation inward, away from concepts and ideas and into your own direct, immediate experience, right here and right now. And so we'll just end with this final inquiry, which, by the way, is not for me to answer. It's for you. If you look inside right now with real curiosity, can you actually find this chooser as a solid thing, as some kind of entity in there? Or, when you look, do you just find more thoughts about a chooser, thoughts about an I, simply appearing in awareness? That seeing, right there, that's the whole point.